Hi, I'm Rick Paris. Welcome to Conscious Reality Creator. If you clicked on this video and you're depressed or somebody that you love is depressed, I'm going to teach you 100% how to heal depression. The thing that you're not going to realize in this video is depression is 100% a form following the function of anger and rage. You must come to the awareness that anger and rage is the problem under depression and cancer and any physical ailment that you might have. It's going to be a very easy jump for you to look and hear that and go, well, you know, I'm depressed, but I'm not angry. I have cancer, but I'm not angry. You are. You are, and you must be able to recognize that. You are unconscious of that right now. The whole point of this is to take what you're not aware of, bring it conscious and release it, and then you will watch that go away. But you'll have to trust me on this. Everybody has anger. Not everybody has rage, but every woman has rage. Every woman has rage because we're living in a paradigm of chauvinism, where everything is competition and comparison. Everything's about what do I do? How do I? My value is not in my emotionality. As a matter of fact, in anger, how repressed, depressed, suppressed is my anger. For many, that's the measure of spirituality. This is why so many people that think they're spiritual talk like this, because I'm not angry. Oh, I'm so sorry you're feeling that. I'm not angry. And so what happens is, when they really should be angry, when somebody's confronting them and they keep talking like this, because somebody's angry in front of them, they suppress, repress that rage, and all they do is wait till later on and they dump it on somebody else that didn't really deserve it because they didn't deal with it in a real-time moment. But they have to process it. Anger will always be processed, either mentally or spiritually. Anger is the main fodder your negative ego thrives off of. Your negative ego needs anger for it to stay in position. It actually eats it. Because when you get angry, it's intense enough that you will create a negative reality. And so your ego knows it. So it thrives on the anger because that's where it gets the most bang for its buck when it's trying to manipulate you. Any emotion, repressed, suppressed, depressed, is bad for you. It's not healthy. Even if you see people who laugh and they go, that's not healthy. Your emotions are supposed to move. They're supposed to move through you. They're supposed to move around you. They're not supposed to be directed at anyone. You know, part of the reason with anger is so difficult is you were taught not to have it. Men should be even-keeled and strong and stoic, and you shouldn't get angry. If you do, yeah, okay, go ahead and throw things and break things and get over it and get back. And women, if I'm angry, I'm a bitch. I'm a ball buster. And the truth is, the only reason you're a bitch and a ball buster is because you're using anger, thinking that because I'm angry and I'm able to get it out, that's a good thing. No, it's not, because you're using it as a club. If somebody calls you a bitch, don't think and rationalize, oh, it's because I'm angry. You just don't like to see a woman in her power. No, you're punishing people when you're called a bitch or a ball buster. You're not really expressing anger cleanly. Which leads me to another point. The child and the adolescent do not know. Your parents didn't allow most of you to be angry and just be angry. It's okay. It's an emotion that you have to learn to deal with yourself when you're angry. So when you're repressing, suppressing, depressing that anger, you are taught not to express it. So your immediate function is to not really feel it all. And the longer I suppress something, like let's say somebody does something that bothers you and they do it again and they do it again and they do it again and they do it again, and finally I can't take it and I dump all over them and I feel so righteous because you've done this 20 times. That's you didn't deal with it 20 times. It's not their fault. If people don't start doing the appropriate thing with their anger, what do you think cancer is rampant in the world? Because it's anger. It's eating you alive. And of course, different cancers are different belief constructs around the anger. So that's another conversation that I don't really need to have All you need to know is if you have cancer, you're angry and you're not conscious of that anger and you're not using anger appropriately. In a perfect world, anger is the brakes of reality. If I'm going to be angry, boom, I could show it and be like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't like what's going on. It's different than, what the hell are you doing? You see, that's the child and adolescent. What's going on? Anger needs to be fully expressed and processed. But you don't process that with someone else because it's not their problem. It's your problem. For some people, anger makes them feel alive. Like they have a purpose. They have a thing to do, right? Because now that I'm alive, I can be so angry I lost my job that, fuck you, I'll get a better one. And I will get a better job. Because I used anger and it's so intense, it'll create a reality. But you know, when you go to work and now you have a problem with the boss, or you have problems with the employees, or I can't get that raise, or I didn't get the position, all that stuff that's going on in your personal life because anger screws up your intimate relationships and anything having to do with success in your life. Like when you get money and all of a sudden the car breaks down and just takes that money away and you're like, that's because you're mad. So you're creating that to feel it, but you don't know how to feel it. So you're sitting there and being so mad. And then of course now I got to blame the person that crashed my car and I didn't really have insurance. And now my car's all screwed up and, you know, on and on and on. More righteousness, more blame, more rage, more anger. And it's all coming from, there's so much pollution in the outside world. Your outside world has to keep giving you angry people. For me, and I know this sounds weird, I would at least get in a fight once a week. Fist fights. I've busted people so many times. I've been in jail many times for getting in fights because I was angry. It took me a long time. It wasn't until I was about 30 years old till I finally, it clicked. And it was because I had started learning how to process myself. And I got in a fight in a bar. And I literally saw the guy and I knew, I was like so happy I was going to demolish the guy right there on the dance floor, right? And because I had a righteous anger, because he was being a jerk to the girls and he was bumping the women and he wasn't letting them express, I had all going on and I was so ready and it was like he was a ghost. I went to hit him and right before I hit him he moved and I was like, whoa, I never was like right there and missed it. But see, I was already opening up to my life, so I had changed the way that it was expressing. So I go to punch him, he misses, I slip in beer, and I completely blow my knee out on the spot. And so I'm thinking, wow, my knee's blown out and I can't look weak here, so I got to get him on the ground immediately so I can beat his ass because my knee's blown out. I get him on the ground, I get on top of him with a bad knee, I go to punch him, and it's like he's invisible. I punch the dance floor immediately, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill you! But that whole process made me realize I knew my right knee was my will. I knew knee had to do with control. I had known enough about healing at that time that I could metaphorically take it apart, and it wasn't until maybe a couple weeks later I realized, oh, it's my stepdad. I've been fighting my stepdad my whole life. This person who dominated me and pushed me and hit me, and he was such a fucking asshole, and I couldn't do anything about it. I was a little kid, I'm 5 years old, and this guy's like pushing me around like he's a neighborhood bully. And he lives in my house, right? It was like, I was so pent up. I went in the military and I beat everybody's ass. I got through boot camp. I got 660 people. I was number 2 just because I beat the fuck out of everybody who got in my way. And the military loved it. They invited me to the SEAL team after that. Rage will get you a reality, but it will never work nicely. You'll have to keep having obstacles to overcome. You'll have to build up the intensity big enough that I can overcome, and you will lose. You will always end up losing because what's really happening, I'm just trying to get rid of the anger. Anger is very debilitating, very unhealthy. You must learn to do that. If you're looking around and you're like, how many angry people do you see in the world? How angry are you in the car? How many people aren't letting you in? How people, on and on and on. It's anger, anger, anger. The best thing, and I mean this sincerely, it's not hyperbole. If you would heal your anger, you would change the world. You would see a completely different reality if you could do that. Why would you keep that anger? Why would you do that? Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Because A lot of people don't want to take responsibility. I can avoid responsibility. Like, and it looks like this, right? Like, you're with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and you're all pissed off, and you're being an utter ass. And then you just say, well, I'm really angry right now, so just gonna have to let me be a dick, is what you're basically saying. You're avoiding responsibility, and you're gonna shit all over the person you love because you're angry. And you're not recognizing that I gotta stop. I'm breaking the intimacy, I'm separating my relationship, I'm doing an awful thing, right? Another way is a lot of people want to have righteous blame. I want to find people to blame in the world, and that's why I have groups of political groups or any other kind of group I don't like. And of course, reality is always going to mimic the fact that these guys do it. They do it every time. They're always doing this shit. That's my rage trying to get me trying to release it, so I got to create people pissing me off all the time. So I go to work every day and I'm pissed. I'm in traffic every day and I'm pissed. Because everybody will find a little place that they allow themselves to be angry, but you're not really processing it. It's just a pressure cooker. I just can't really take any of it right now, so I just blow something up so I can move on. Self-pity, right? I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm sorry, I'm just so angry. I'm so angry all the time, and I'm homeless. How many times you've gone up to a homeless person to ask you for money and you're like, you know what, no, sorry, I'm not going to help you. Well, fuck you. You don't know what I'm going through, right? They immediately in your mind, you're like, I'm glad I didn't give you any money because you're an asshole, right? It's because they're angry too, and they're using self-pity to try to motivate you to help them. So they're looking like, oh, I can't do it on my own. I'm in so bad shape. I just need bus fare. I just need some gasoline. Little do they know, you hear that same thing time and time again. And how many times when you start saying no and you realize, wow, how pissed off are they? And they're just trying to manipulate me. So self-pity is another thing to do. I'll numb myself with self-pity. That way I don't really understand how mad I am. I don't really know how mad I am because I'm numb all the time. Another thing is, a lot of you people who are listening to this that feel that you're very spiritual, this is going to blow your image up. Your image of yourself when you realize I'm actually mad all the time. And I'm trying to act like I'm not. And I'm shitting on people because maybe it's a waitress at the restaurant doesn't make me the right thing. And I'm just take this back. I have a right to be mad right now because they screwed up, because that's what the spiritual person will do. I'll find somebody that is perfect. For sure I should be able to blame them because they're not doing their job right. Or AT&T just didn't charge me right on my bill. And I'll sit on the phone for a half an hour and be mad at 3 different customer service representatives, right? A lot of you are going to use it as control because, yeah, I can control people when I'm mad. People are afraid of me when I'm mad. People do what I want when I'm mad. This is the bitch. This is the bossy woman. She's mad and she's learned to utilize that. Yeah, I can dominate people around me. I get what I want when I'm mad and I just go after it because, you know what? I'm a powerful woman. No, you're angry. Because the truth is, if you're honest with your anger, it creates more intimacy. It makes things better. Honesty and expressing your anger don't break things like everyone, oh, the truth hurts. No, it doesn't. The truth never hurts. It's the way you do it is how it hurts. So anger is something that you need to understand, Clean anger builds relationships. It builds trustworthiness because the other thing you're losing, you lack self-esteem when you're angry. You can't have self-esteem when you're angry because self-esteem is about trust. Self-esteem is about integrity. And integrity, how can I have integrity with underneath I'm mad? I'm not going to have integrity. I'm not going to be able to live by my values when I'm angry. So you don't build self-esteem. You lose self-esteem when you don't process your anger. I've said this before, but guilt is a function of anger. Guilt is a reaction to rage and anger because guilt is an anesthetic. Guilt is basically angers that I don't feel I have a right to express. Depression are angers that I feel like I'm going to get in trouble for expressing. So I'd rather not get mad. And this is something I want to touch on briefly. I have healed many people who've been depressed with the techniques I'm going to give you. If you're on any antidepressant, I promise you, I would guarantee it, you can break that pattern if you do this work. But you have to do it in earnest. You just don't do it. It didn't work for me. It will work. I've seen it work. Even my own stepmother, who's been on disability for 30 years because she's chronically depressed and bipolar, couldn't work. Well, they ran out of money, and she had to get a job, and she couldn't hold a job, and all this stuff. All I found. And finally she got to the point where she asked for help. 6 months later, she has a job, she's making money, she's off all of it. She takes 1/4 of one pill out of 8 cocktails that she's been on for over 20 years, trying to handle her depression, when all it was rage and anger. And my dad is always expressing it back to her. And now she's a totally different person. And I didn't even think somebody that old could change. Because, there's some truth to you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Because the neural pathways, once you've been doing something for so long, you got a 10-lane freeway now that you have to overcome consciously. And if it's been going, that 10-lane freeway's been going for 20 years, you have to be very conscious to change that. You have to be very willful to change that belief construct. So I want to say it again. All depression is a function of unexpressed rage and anger, either or both. So what you have to do is you have to learn how to clean up my aura. How do I get all this suppressed? It's not like, wow, fuck, I've been doing it for 30 years. How am I gonna get rid of that? It's not that hard. It doesn't take nearly as much time, but it does take focus and it does take will. Because guilt, depression, and anger, those are very big issues in the world right now. People constantly, I feel so guilty, I'm so depressed, I'm so angry. All functions of anger. Depression is the biggest thing. It's one of the biggest things being medicated in America today is depression. And I got paid to deliver this information to you before. Now I'm going to give it to you. So depression are these angers that I feel like I'm going to get in trouble for that have just stacked. And because they're small angers, right? It's easy to suppress. Easy to just move on. I don't want to have a problem. I'm angry, but I don't want to have a problem. So I have to stuff it. Of course, I'm stuffing it. So you have to think of it like it's a layer of gauze. It's a feather. Nothing. But if you stack 2 million feathers on top of yourself, you now have 200 pounds. Depression is basically all my energy in my physical body that feels is going to holding back all the rage that I have suppressed for so long. That's why you're now depressed. I'm being depressed by all the rage that, because there's no one single rage, I can't even identify what it is. I don't even know what it is. All I know is I'm depressed, repressed, suppressed. So depression needs to be, you need to relieve that out of yourself. Your unconscious mind needs to be cleaned up. And so I'm going to give you 2 techniques for that right now. The first thing you have to understand is, like common psychology, or you go to a psychiatrist or whatever, and they want to talk about your problems when you're a kid, and you're talking about all your anger, and they're like, let's get mad at your mom. Just play it out. And you go, oh, that bitch did it to me. I can't believe it. And right? But you're an adult now, looking at the situation in a whole different way than your 5-year-old was. And so you can't even reach that level of intensity. So you're not really, you're processing it in a sense, but you're not going to get to it. You're not going to get to it because the adult frame is looking at the problem and go, well, I didn't remember when I was 5 years old, I really wanted to cut your fucking eyes out with a fork. I wanted to choke you till there was no breath coming out of your life. You made me so mad. The adult will say, that's ridiculous. I don't need to do that. Yeah, the problem is your child is the part of you that's angry. It's not the adult anymore. So you can't even get in there because you won't let yourself. You won't let yourself wish I could carve my mom's eyes out with a plastic spoon because I'm so pissed at that bitch, right? It's like, so you have to address the problem where the problem began. So one of the 2 ways I'm going to give you is this. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to write about what you're mad about. You're going to write about it. And you just write Might be 1 page, might be 10 pages, who knows? But you're not going to think about it. You're just going to write, the thing was, my stepdad did this and I did that. You just go through the whole thing from start to finish. And you're going to feel something. But what you're going to do is, since in conscious reality creation, if you've watched any more of the videos, this is a foundation of what you have to understand right now, is you are the only observer in your reality. Everything is your responsibility. Now, that responsibility coming from an adult position, not duty and obligation as the adolescent, but the ability to respond. The more power I have in life is just how much am I willing to respond to. Direct correlates to power. Responsibility, so we're going from that position. Since time is illusion, that little kid in you that you're relating to right now is still that freaking pissed because they didn't know what to do with it back then. Now, if I go into meditation, it's more real than physical experience because I'm in the more real. I've talked about that before. So what you're going to do is, after you've written it all down, you're going to go into meditation and you're going to go back and you're going to let that child carve your mom's eyeballs out if that's what they wanted to do. You're not going to judge them. You're not going to do anything. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch the movie. You're going to watch. You're going to be a third party watching and allowing my child the freedom to express their rage in whatever capacity that they wanted to do. And you're just going to play that out and you're going to let them do it. You're not going to hurt your mom in reality because your intention is not to hurt your mother. Your intention is to release that part of yourself. And that's totally okay. You're not doing anything that the karma lords are going to come after you, even though karma's bullshit. But anyway, that's another video in itself. But basically, you need to be able to express that rage that's under there. So you do it meditatively because it's more real, it's responsible, and it's real. And your child gets a chance to communicate. When you come out of the meditation after you're done, turning her into beef jerky or whatever the hell you're going to do with her in the end because you want to follow it through till you feel done. You feel like, wow, the kid, that's what they wanted to do. Man, wow. Now you're going to come out because you might have feelings about, I felt really guilty doing that, or I felt really ashamed of myself doing that. So you're going to write what it felt like. Because that sentence that you write after that meditation is going to give you the reason you might harbor the anger. Because people harbor anger because they either use it to manipulate or they use it to empower themselves in a situation, so they harbor it. They don't really want to let it go because it was really intense. But that is going to let you know why I might be harboring it. Wow, I felt really guilty. Okay, good to know. I need to know that's an anesthetic. There's more under there. There's more anger that I wasn't even able to get to. You might have to do that particular incident 2 or 3 times before you really feel the intensity going on there. Don't be afraid. If you get done and do it once and you're like, didn't really, because you'll grok it. When it really happens, you'll feel a release and go, wow, I could tell that's different. If it takes you 10 frickin' times, do it 10 frickin' times. You won't take 10 times, but I'm just telling you, whatever it takes, you got to learn to process your anger. It doesn't always, you're not really good at it yet, so it might not happen the first time. This second technique is more powerful than the other to me. This second technique. And most of the time, I teach this to the people on depression. Because depression, there's so much anger in my unconscious mind that, and I'm scared of it. I don't know what it really is. I only know that my child and adolescent were angry. My adult doesn't know what to do with it, right? There's all these inhibitions. So you want to list your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is what's going to let you get more of that information that I've actually shut down now. Because the subconscious is the boundary between the unconscious and the conscious self. It's what lets information in and lets information out. It's the gatekeeper to all things. I can't stress enough that you want a relationship with your subconscious mind. We've made that video already, right? Yeah, we've done that already, so you can check that out. So, this technique goes like this, and I'm going to explain to you in detail why you must follow this to the T. Do not shortcut this. whatever made you mad today, anything, it doesn't matter. If you got pissed off today, you're ready to do this anger letter. So you're going to just sit down and write everything. You're just going to go, that fucking asshole didn't use his blinker and I missed my exit and whatever it was. Just by the very nature of you moving your body and re-expressing it, you've already done something you've never done before. You've actually taken an anger that I had and actually went in deeper. That already triggers your subconscious mind that you sat down and willfully began writing. The fact that your body is moving and you're feeling it, your whole subconscious is going, wow, look, this is different. So you write until you don't have anything left to write about. And you hide the letter. Put it between a book, put it under the mattress, just hide it somewhere. What that hiding does is it triggers your subconscious because you've been doing that your whole life. Getting mad and stuffing it. So that represents what I usually do. The next day, you're going to take this letter out and you're going to read it again. And you're going to feel how pissed off you were again. And now you're going to add to the letter because by the time you get to the letter, likely something else is going to get triggered or something else. And so you add to it. In day 2, you've never done that for sure. You've never gone back twice to make sure that I expressed myself. So the subconscious is like, wow, now I have a framework. I have a pattern. They went back once, they went back twice. 2 is the number of reflection. You're going to hide it again. On this 3rd day, you're going to take it out again. And you're going to read it and you're going to feel it again. And this time, when you get to the end of the letter, you're going to say out loud, I am releasing this anger. And you're going to burn that letter. And you're either going to do it somewhere safe. Don't burn the house down because you're so freaking angry, right? Because that shit can be done. Take it in the barbecue, put it in the oven, put it in somewhere. Just make sure you're taking that one extra conscious, responsible step to burn it safely. Burn the letter. And while it's burning, watch that thing burn and know, I'm over this. Now, start another one the next day. If you're on antidepressants, you have to understand you have a tremendous amount of rage. And the antidepressants are making it worse because now you're numb and you're still doing your same behavior. You haven't changed your behavior. So the antidepressants are going to escalate. This is why you have to try another one later or you have to be dosed a different way. It's because your system is trying to overcome the numbness. So what you're going to do is you're going to just start another one and do another one. Do as many as you can. And when you think there's no more left, keep pushing. This is why when someone pays me, I push them because everybody gets, I don't think I'm mad anymore. I'm not done. But did your boss piss you off today? Well, yeah, you're not done. You won't be done. Now, doesn't mean you have to do one for every time I got angry. You're dumping huge amounts of energy because what you're going to realize in these free writes, because you're free writing about the anger, sometimes I'm so mad I don't even have words and I just fucking take the pencil and I scribble because I know I'm still expressing it. But what happens is you'll get a vision, you'll get an insight, you'll get a picture of a time you were mad that has nothing to do, seemingly, to the anger I'm expressing. And what's happening is your subconscious is realizing, oh, you're trying to get all the old stuff out now. And it will start helping you. It will start making you remember stuff that pissed you off. It'll help you because it wants you, every part of yourself wants you to get rid of this pollution because it's killing you, literally killing you. Those of you with cancer, you know it's killing you. That's what cancer is 100% about. Depression, you're on your way. Depression, you're on your way. But wow, how nice would it be to just get rid of the pills? Because they're like, oh, I have a chemical. It's not chemical. Chemical is form. Conscious reality creation is about learning what the functions are, changing the functions, and elegantly watching the form shift. If your brain chemistry's been tested and it's off, I promise you it will get corrected with this exercise. You have to be willful about it though, because you've been hiding for a long time. You also, in doing these exercises, you have to also take greater responsibility when you're mad. Don't put it in there. Let's say you're inappropriate, you're in front of your boss and you just can't do it. Make a note and write about that later. you're still processing it very responsibly, very appropriately. I don't want to lose my job and get mad at my boss and say, I was just, expressing my anger. What was going on here? Because you'll lose your job if you're mad enough. So don't let your ego screw you up with this. So just know, okay, you don't have to throw plates and bang on stuff. I mean, that's like an adolescent way to get rid of your anger. Do it meditatively. Do it with these letters. I could cry right now because I know what this video could do for so many people if they could just understand this and just do the work. Make the earth a better place. Do it that. If you do that, I guarantee you will be in love with all the other videos. You will understand that this stuff I'm teaching absolutely works. And you can do the best thing you can do for yourself, for your loved ones, for your career, for your success, for your health, for the planet. So go out there and process this stuff appropriately so the earth can start looking better. Your life can be a whole different thing in no time. I know this is scary. It's not easy to confront one of the most powerful parts about yourself that you've been in denial and suppression and about your whole life. And you're going to dig up some shit that you're not going to be happy about. But I'm trying to help in the best way I can, and I will help you. If you can make a comment, I will respond. I'm looking for greater authority and power in the world, and I will respond appropriately. And so I just want you to know, it's not easy. I know. And I also know it's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. You're going to be so surprised. Just be willful, be on point. I just remembering, I haven't really asked for subscribers because I wasn't realizing I need to receive. So if this was valuable to you, help me do better and subscribe. And that's it. Please subscribe, like, comment, do the things that make my situation better for me and those I'm trying to impact behind the camera. So thank you very much, and I know this was useful, and so use it.